This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
With just 18 months to go before it opens its doors to the world, Baha Mar is urging Bahamians to get ready to take advantage of the wide range of opportunities the $3.5 billion resort will offer.
And leading up to that time, they'll be executing a massive campaign to make those opportunities known. Julian Reed has more.
For the past 2 years, Baha Mar has accounted for an estimated 5% of the country's annual GDP. By 2015, projections put the mega resort's contribution to GDP as high as 15%. This from an economic impact report by Oxford Economics. That same report predicts that Baha Mar will generate 12,000 jobs through direct and indirect impacts. Robert Sands is Baha Mar's Senior Vice President, Administration and External Affairs.
We have always said that Baha Mar is good for the Bahamas and good for Bahamians. And through the demonstration of the economic impact of this transformative project, these benefits are being seen.
Baha Mar has already awarded $230 million in local contracts and is expected to put out to bid at least $170 million more to Bahamian contractors. The resort has paid out $719 million in wages since 2005, and they expect to generate $12 billion in additional employment income over a 20-year period.
And that's pretty significant. We'll be a large, one of the largest private sector contributors to GDP over the long term. When you look at visitor spending from Baha Mar, visitors to Baha Mar will spend $25.3 billion over a 20-year period. That's new visitors coming to the Bahamas as well as Baha Mar. Of that number, we expect those visitors to also spend $50 million annually in the local economy, not counting what Baha Mar is going to spend in the local economy for payroll, for utilities, for services and goods as well.
That was Vaughn Roberts, Baha Mar's Vice President for Corporate Finance and Treasury, who also points out that for every dollar in government concessions to Baha Mar, more than $30 will go to GDP. For every $1 in government concessions to Baha Mar, the government will get $4.70 of cumulative tax revenues. So, Baha Mar executives say the time is now for Bahamians to prepare themselves for the opportunities that will come. So, within the next 2 weeks, expect to see online and throughout the media information from Baha Mar that will help you understand how best to take advantage of the opportunities the largest resort in the region will bring. Julian Reed, ZNS Network News.
Coming up, the Constitution Commission hits 2 islands in one day as a deadline looms.
And the sports minister lays out his plans for the country. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The world's largest providers of economic forecasts, Oxford Economics, is reporting that Baha Mar has accounted for more than 5% of the Bahamas' gross domestic product for the past 2 years. The report says since 2005, Baha Mar accounted on average 3.2% of the economy. That works out to about $2.1 billion between 2005 and 2012. The report says if it were not for the multi-billion-dollar project, the Bahamas would have experienced a negative growth to the tune of 2.7% in real GDP. $9.1 million in revenue. That's the figure government's real property tax reeled in extra revenue during its first 3 months, with more than 1,000 taxpayers settling outstanding accounts. Minister of State for Finance Michael Alcides, during his contribution to the budget debate, said up to May 31st, 471 property owners had registered with the Chief Valuation Officer for the first time. Those new additions, he said, contributed $1.1 million in real property tax revenues to the Treasury. And finally, Chrysler is ordering the recall of more than 630 Jeep SUVs. This comes only 2 days after the automaker refused a request to recall over 2.7 million Jeep Grand Cherokee vehicles that the NHTSA advised may have fuel tank problems that may lead to explosions on impact. Chrysler issued the recall for 409 Jeep Compass and Patriot small SUVs models 2010 and 2012 to fix the problems with the airbags and seat belts. The company is also recalling some 221,000 2012 and 2013 Jeep Wranglers to fix the problems with the transmission fluid lines. The recall starts in July. Local Jeep owners can check the status of their vehicles by visiting the Chrysler Jeep website. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.